Okay, we're continuing in the Tosefta, which is a supplement parallel to the Mishnah. We're in Parak Yod Beit, so chapter 12. And these are those who are put to death through burning. He who has relations with both a man and her a woman and her daughter, and a priest's daughter who is bound to her husband. If he had relations with the woman and afterward had relations with her daughter. So had relations with her daughter and afterward had relations with the mother, he is liable. And again, whenever you hear it say liable or exempt, it's in relation to that specific death penalty. Even though we do not derive evidence from Scripture, the one who had relations with the daughter of a woman whom he raped is liable to be burned. We do have an indication, for it is said, and the man who shall take a woman and her daughter, it is lewdness. Leviticus 20, verses 14. Scripture thus speaks of someone in whom he has a potential right of marriage. Scripture says, and the daughter of a man, a priest. Leviticus 21:9. Deriving from any source, even the daughter of a woman whom he has raped. A betrothed virgin and a priest's daughter who committed adultery are subject to stoning. Rabbi Shimon says, to death by burning. Rabbi Shimon of Taman says, just as the fist, Exodus 21, verse 18, which has served as the murder weapon, is known to the congregation of judges and the witnesses, so the stone, Numbers 35:17, must be known to the congregation of judges and the witnesses. This excludes the case in which the stone was lost. So, said to Rabbi Akiva, I know only that rule applies in a case in which the stone is lost. How do I know that even if the stone were there, hanging in the courtroom, or if the murder weapon were a staff there in the courtroom, and the judges knew that he had hit him on the leg or on the belly button, which I think they're saying here that it's literally says bird of life, so that's the belly button. Or lo, if he pushed him off the roof of a building and the victim dies, do we say let the building come to court? And if you say let the court then come and see the building, what if it fell down? Do we say let the owner come and rebuild it? And if so, concerning what are witnesses believed in such a manner? But concerning such a matter, also in capital cases, judgment is based on the witness's testimony. And if the stone with which the murder was committed was mixed up with others, they make an estimate of the lightest of them. And if it is of sufficient weight to have killed someone, he is liable, and if not, he is exempt. And if it fell into fire and was burned up, or into water and dissolved, the accursed is exempt. That's meaning from the death penalty. They still might have something that other related to the case that would be subject to some sort of penalty of some sort. So if one intended to hit this person and instead hit that person, Rabbi Yehuda declares liable, and Rabbi Shimon declares exempt. But Rabbi Yehuda concedes that if he intended to kill a beast and killed a man, to kill a Gentile and killed an Israelite, to kill an untimely birth and killed an offspring that was viable, he is exempt. Those who are convicted to be executed by more severe modes of execution, who also were convicted to be put to death by less severe forms of execution, they put them to death with the less severe mode of execution. Rabbi Yoshi says the most lenient form of execution is strangulation. And so did Rabbi Yoshi say, he is judged by the penalty which first applies to what he has done. How so? He who has relations with his mother-in-law and she is married, she was his mother-in-law and she got married, he is put to death through burning. If she had been married and afterward became his mother-in-law, he is put to death through strangulation. If one has transgressed a rule which is punishable by two modes of execution, they kill him by the more severe of them. All those who are condemned to death, which are listed in the Torah, whom you cannot put to death with a more severe mode of execution, execute with any one of the modes of execution, whether lenient or severe. As it is said, and you will exterminate the evil from your midst. Deuteronomy 17, verse 7. So if they warn him and he remains silent, warn him and he nods his head, warn him once, twice, and a third time, and he repeated the same transgression, they put him into prison. Abaya Shaul says, also on the third occasion they warn him. But if he repeats it a fourth time, they put him into prison and feed him the bread of adversity and the water of affliction. Similarly, those who are liable for flogging, who were flogged and did the same deed and were flogged again, and this happens once, twice, and yet a third time, they put him into prison. Abaya Shaul says, also on the third occasion they flog him, but if he repeats it a fourth time, they put him into prison and feed him barley until his belly explodes. And they added to the list of those who have no portion in the world to come. He who breaks the yoke, violates the covenant, misinterprets the Torah, pronounces the divine names as it is spelled out, who have no portion in the world to come. Rabbi Akiva says, he who warbles the Song of Songs in a banquet hall and makes it into a kind of love song has no portion in the world to come. Abba Shaul says in the name of Rabbi Akiva, also he who whispers over a wound, it is written, I will put none of the diseases upon you which I have put on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you. Exodus 15, verse 26. And who then spits has no portion in the world to come. 4 kings, Jeroboam, Ahaz, Manasseh, have no portion in the world to come. Rabbi Yehuda says, Manasseh has a portion in the world to come, since it is said, his prayer also, and how God was entreated of him, and all his sin and his trespass, and the place wherein he built high places and set up the Asherim and the graven images, before he humbled himself, behold, they are written in the book of Hosea. 2 Chronicles 33, verse 19. This teaches that God accepted his prayer and brought him into the life of the world to come.